Ta-da! Here we are again, a little bit early on a Saturday morning. Final Cut TV and Coffee, number 73. We're going on 2 years of broadcasting these every Saturday morning. Talking about general Final Cut Pro stuff, any news, anything that's going on. It's an opportunity for all the listeners to get their posts put up on the screen so the Final Cut Pro team can see it. This is one of the best places for the Final Cut Pro team to see your comments. They watch this every Saturday. They get up in the morning. They have bagels. Tim Cook brings bagels down to them. Bagels, cream cheese, lox, all that stuff. And he brings them down to the room, special room. They have a special secret room, and the whole Final Cut Pro team gathers around and watches this live stream. Sometimes Tim Cook even stays. He brings the bagels and coffee down for everybody, but sometimes he even stays and watches some of it. Hey, Final Cut Pro team, thank you for what you do. How you doing, Tim? Glad you could join us this morning. Glad to see you working for the community. I enjoy it myself as well. I'm a Final Cut Pro proponent, but I also use DaVinci Resolve and LumaFusion. I got a new 13-inch iPad Pro about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. 13-inch, 1 terabyte space gray, which is kind of like black. Hello from Philly. How you doing this morning, everybody? So we're early this week because I have to go film something in Frederick where they have the high wheelers race once a year, and they have it this morning at 12 noon. I'm about 45 minutes away, something like that. Plus I got to find parking. Plus I got to set up my equipment, et cetera, et cetera. So I had to go an hour early this morning. But that's okay. We got people watching. We're going to still talk about whatever's happening about Final Cut Pro. Right now, there's not a lot happening other than there's bugs in 10.8. I've seen bugs reported over and over and over again. Do grab your coffee. I have my Mickey Minnie Mouse coffee mug, and my coffee's inside. I haven't updated yet since I'm deep on 3 or 4 projects. I also have not updated. I did update. I backed up Final Cut Pro in the applications folder, and I updated one version to 10.8. So I have 2 versions. I'm running 10.8 and I'm running 10.7.1 because I have my documentary film is going to be shown a week from tonight in Silver Spring, Maryland at the AFI Theater. The AFI, American Film Institute Theater. My documentary is going to be shown, completely edited in Final Cut Pro, 100% edited in Final Cut Pro. And we had one showing a year and 3 or 4 months ago. This is the second showing we have in the theater. That's a week from tomorrow. If you're in the area, Silver Spring area, you want to fly in. Here we go. Hey, Tim Cook, you guys are so close to making Final Cut Pro the killer app that it should be. So close. Let's add some keyframe controls and extended bicubic transformation tools. Bezier warp. Absolutely. Same as that, waiting for bug fix. So whenever there's a new version of Final Cut Pro, 10.7 to 10.8, of course there's going to be bugs. All software has bugs. Never bug-free. Never, never, never. So 10.8 came out 6 months after 10.7. That's pretty fast. A little bit on the rushing side, I'd say. And so there's bugs. Now, I've seen whenever there's bugs reported, if one person reports a specific bug, but nobody else sees it, that's probably their setup. But when people report the same bug over and over and over again, And I see it on different forums in different groups, different Facebook groups, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to confirm it myself. I'm pretty sure that these people are Final Cut Pro editors and they know what they're doing. And here is the bug. I've seen 3 or 4, 5, 6 bugs repeatedly talked about. So I am sure the Final Cut Pro team is going to release a bug fix. I'm going to bet. I'll bet a coffee. If anybody wants to bet a coffee, I'll bet a coffee. It's going to be out this Thursday, this coming Thursday, 10.8.1. That's my bet. I don't mind betting coffees. I don't mind losing. The coffee's no big deal. This Thursday / this week. Could be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, but Thursday's the most likely day that we'll see the bug fix, 10.8.1. Now, last year, the Final Cut Pro team, by the way, we want to give Final Cut Pro team accolades. Doing a great job. Last year, they did an exceptional job fixing bugs within 2 weeks one time. They fixed bugs within 2 weeks one time, and then the second time was 2 weeks and 2 days. They came out with bug fixes that quick. So this is the third week. Last Thursday was the third week. No bug fixes in sight. So maybe it's a little more extensive this time. Either they're putting out more bug fixes, maybe they're going to add a feature or something into this. But I'm going to say the fourth week, they always typically will update when there's bugs reported, they can reproduce within 4 weeks of a release. It's a very common time frame to release a bug fix. So this coming Thursday will be 4 weeks. I'm pretty confident, Final Cut Pro team, that we're going to see a bug fix this coming week, if not before Thursday, on Thursday. That's my prediction. And it's going to be 10.8.1. Now, initially when I was talking, I was saying 10.8.01 because I thought it would be a small bug fix out quickly. Okay? Then I went back and I looked at 10.7.1, which was a bug fix, and it came out within 3 weeks of 10.7. 10.7 came out on November the 30th. They introduced it on November the 6th at the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. All those of us who were there, we got to see it live. We were the first people to see it live. It came out on November the 30th. It was bug fixed within 3 weeks, right before the Christmas vacation. And it was 10.7.1. It was a bug fix, and it was 10.7.1. That's why I switched my prediction to 10.8.1. It will also be a bug fix. Let's see what we have here. The only real bugs I've seen is that audio scrubbing frame by frame was broken in 10.8. Yes, that's a common one. However, if that bothers you, you can get around it for the time being by make sure your mouse pointer is not over the timeline. If your mouse pointer is not over the timeline, like it's resting on the browser or someplace else, the frame-by-frame scrubbing apparently will work until they get it fixed. I've seen other bugs too. Thank you very much. I've seen other bugs too, something to do with Bezier curves, speed ramping, working in the viewer, crashes Final Cut Pro. I've seen not more than normal, probably normal, but I guarantee you the Final Cut Pro team is working on these. If they can reproduce them, if you report it to the Final Cut Pro team, don't just report it on Facebook, okay? Report it directly to the Final Cut Pro team. That's where you want to report your bugs, right? Now, where do you report it to the Final Cut Pro team? Let's find out. Here's where you can report it to the Final Cut Pro team. Right here. FCPX.tv. I'm going to change this to a squircle instead of a circle. There we go. Squircle. FCPX.TV. If you look right here, send your requests, bug reports, or feedback to the Final Cut Pro team, and there's a link right there, right on the main page. Easy to remember. Easy to remember. FCPX.TV. Click on the link, and you can send your bug report right to the Final Cut Pro team. That's how easy it is. I've had that link up there for quite a long time. So that's how you can send a report to the Final Cut Pro team. The last Final Cut Pro Summit, they mentioned a roadmap. Have you heard any more information on what they have planned for the future? There are a few things that I have to do in Premiere Pro still that make me sad. The roadmap, here's the deal. The last day of the summit, they had a Q&A. Final Cut Pro team's up in the front. The place is packed. Hundreds of people. I'd say 200 people are in there, Final Cut Pro people. They had a Q&A. I asked the first question. Got the microphone, walked up the center of the aisle so they could see who they were talking to, and not just some generic voice in the back of a dark auditorium. So they know me. So I went up there and I said, here's the question. Number one, I want to thank whoever released the Final Cut Pro 10.7 scrolling timeline. Whichever one of you are responsible for that, I want to thank you for that. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Here's the question. I've seen this question on social media for years. The question is, there's millions of Final Cut Pro editors out there, millions. We know that. Apple has already announced it. They've announced 2.5 million in 2017, 2018. So we know there's millions. The question is that people want to know, not everybody, but some people, not me, but some people, is Final Cut Pro going to go the way of Aperture? That's the question. I see it over and over and over again. Please respond. So they responded to it. They said Final Cut Pro is not going the way of Aperture. Hands down, categorically, it's not going the way of Aperture. Then they added this. They said, not only do we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 6 months, we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 4, 5, 6 years. That's what their response was. So it's not going the way of Aperture, et cetera, et cetera. So they mentioned the roadmap for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Well, the first thing is they said, not only do we have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next 6 months, we're at 6 months. We jumped from 10.7 to 10.8. That's the start of the roadmap. I expect 10.8.1 to come out this week. Bug fix, maybe a feature, who the heck knows what else. Here's what else I expect. Logic Pro came out last year when Final Cut Pro 10.7 came out. Logic Pro was at 10.8 in November 30th of last year. Okay? Or did it come out earlier? It might have came out earlier. It came out 10.8, Logic Pro. 6 months later, Logic Pro jumped to Logic Pro 11. In 6 months, Logic Pro jumped from 10.8 to 11, to version 11. They jumped from 10.8 to version 11. We're at 10.8 with Final Cut Pro right now. 6 months from now, the end of this year, I'm predicting that we're going to jump to Final Cut Pro 11, that they've probably been working on for a while. And what happens 6 months from now? The Final Cut Pro Creator Summit. So I predict we are going to see Final Cut Pro 11, at least a preview at the Creative Summit. Maybe it'll come out in December. Maybe it'll come out beginning of 2025. But I predict we're at least going to see Final Cut Pro 11 in 6 months. Specifically, closed captioning, he was saying he has to go to Premiere for. Any closed captioning, any captioning at all, I use DaVinci Resolve. Absolutely love DaVinci Resolve. For text-based editing, closed captioning, it's phenomenal. Now, I'm not a power user of DaVinci Resolve. I only use the editor, the video editor. the edit page. I don't even use the cut page. I just use the edit page. And I love it for text-based editing. I can cut a 2-hour broadcast film down in about 45 minutes by text-based editing all the pieces out that I don't want. I have a feeling that the utterly unnecessary removal of DVD Blu-ray burning left a hole that created a domino effect. Perhaps many connections were severed. Don't mess with ones and zeros. It's very funny. Very, very funny. Scrolling timeline and properly generating waveforms was used. Absolutely used. It was. You just reminded me, are there any resources out there to teach how to use Logic Pro for audio mastering Final Cut Pro videos and round tripping, or does that not exist? Do not try to round trip between Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, back and forth. You can go from Final Cut Pro to Logic Pro. Do not go back from Logic Pro to Final Cut Pro if you want to preserve all your audio tracks and rolls and things. It just doesn't work. It's kind of one way. Now, I do that sometimes, but I'll spit out a master audio file and then bring that back into Final Cut Pro. Round tripping between Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro does not work the way it should. It's problematic. Also, thank you for such an in-depth resource on this topic. You're more than welcome. I'm glad you tuned in today. Thank you very much. I would love to know what kinds of machine learning inspired tools the team is working on. So far, I love all the amazing things that have been introduced, language-driven tools. Here's what I expect. This is based on absolutely nothing other than my intuition, which is probably about 50 to 60% accurate. I'm pretty good. I'm over 50%, maybe 60, maybe 70% accurate. Here's what I expect. Of course, I've been expecting the scrolling timeline for years. Well, we finally got it. I also had on my website on fcpx.tv the ability to drag effects from the inspector down to the timeline into the viewer in the browser. Well, they incorporated that as well. Here's what I expect in version 11. If not sooner. I don't expect any major revisions sooner. I think they've been working on 11 for a while. Behind the scenes. I expect text-based editing, absolutely, and automatic captioning, absolutely, in Final Cut Pro 11. I think that's going to be some of the big ticket items. A bonus would be a roles-based mixer. A roles-based mixer. That's just two of the things that I'd like to see happen. Good morning. Just bought a new iMac and waiting for it to be delivered for Final Cut Pro. Absolutely. It's like Christmas for us when we buy Mac things, right? We waiting, watch the delivery dates and stuff. When I order it, we order a new iPhone in September, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, whatever it is, and I'm keeping my iPhone 15 Pro Max. It is fantastic, fantastic. I call it a camera. The phone part is minor to me. Fantastic. And I'm keeping it because it has USB-C and not that horrible, slow, ancient lightning port that they had for years. The new enhanced light and color is a gigantic win. I haven't used it yet. I'll take your word for it. I want a little more stability before I jump over. Yeah, I've run into those issues as well. So I have like I said, I have a documentary coming out a week from today in Silver Spring, Maryland. My film, it's over 2 hours long. We're going to show the film, Silver Spring. I'm real proud of it. It's not something that a general audience would necessarily want to see. It's more specific to the Baltimore, Washington area. It's about a rock band that I was a huge fan of, original rock band in D.C. called Raz. And they should have made it big, and they just didn't make it big. They never made it big. They never got that brass ring. They never grabbed the brass ring. They tried. Anyway, that doesn't diminish how great their music was. We've interviewed them multiple times. We have live footage of them. So that's what the documentary is about. Let me show you one thing. So I have a Facebook group. I have multiple Final Cut Pro related Facebook groups. One of them is Final Cut Pro Tips and Tricks, We just surpassed 13,000 members. We just surpassed 13,000 members. Absolutely, we deserve applause for that. 13,000, so that's pretty cool. Now, let me just do this. Here we go. This is the theater from the last showing of the audience. This is the AFI Silver Theater, Silver Spring, Maryland. It's very Art Deco from like 1950s, 1960s. Beautiful, beautiful old theater. This is a photograph of people coming into the theater and the last showing that we had back in April 2023. This documentary, it's 2 hours and I don't know, it's over 2 hours long, entirely edited in Final Cut Pro. It was going to be shown again this Saturday at the AFI Silver Theater in Silver Spring. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for adding to the viewer count. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Congratulations on 13K. It's a community Facebook group. We don't put up with any nonsense. We don't put up with any nonsense. You know, it's all about Final Cut Pro. I would really want a grown-up version of the live cam function introduced on iPad version. It's a live multicam is what it's called. Live multicam. There's no reason why they can't do it on the Final Cut Pro Mac version. There's no reason whatsoever. What am I doing right now? I'm live multicam. I have this one. This camera is available. I have this one. I have this one. I have all these different cameras, and I'm live switching and live streaming on my MacBook Pro. There's absolutely no reason, Final Cut Pro team, we don't believe any excuse you might give. There's no reason why you can't do the live multicam on a MacBook Pro. Zero. No reason. So if you don't do it, what you're doing is you're splintering Final Cut on the iPad and Final Cut Pro. Okay, you're splintering. They're going in different directions. Well, I think they're going in different directions anyway, based on the last update that they had. I wouldn't use that because I don't do any live reporting. As a matter of fact, I do fewer and fewer actual live streams, except for this show, Final Cut TV and Coffee, except for this show, because I'd rather film and do a slight edit to improve quality, check audio and stuff like that, and then spit that out. As a matter of fact, let me go over here. This is where I'm going today. There's a high wheelers race in Frederick, Maryland. Let me show you what it looks like. Thank you for the thumbs up. Now, I filmed this last year. Let me see, where am I? Camlink. There we go. I filmed this last year. I'm just going to run through a little bit. This is Frederick, Maryland, and the high wheelers are coming around. This is one of the reasons that I want to be able to switch cameras live on my iPhone.
Minutes, and whoever has the most times around is the winner.
Right. What's your name?
My name's Eric.
I'm recording for YouTube Live and Facebook Live.
Oh, very great.
Why don't you come on camera and talk about the race a little bit? Your name is Eric, you said?
My name's Eric, yep.
Tell me what's going on here today.
So I'm just a volunteer today. I'm in charge of the corner. We're doing the high wheel race. It was the only one in the country for years. We took a little hiatus during COVID. We came back last year stronger than ever, and this year obviously we're on Facebook.
And YouTube Live.
Thank you for adding to my viewer count. I appreciate it. Watching. Thank you very much. It's always good to get thumbs up. We like them. Thank you for adding to the viewer count. Thank you for joining in and adding to the viewer count. It is appreciated. We got all these great thumbs up down here. Let me go back over here a second. I'm just going to show that this is the heat. This is so cool. I really like this race. It's one of my favorite events of the year. Now, you see how I just switched camera lenses? Did you see how I just switched camera lenses? This is why I want to switch camera lenses live. This is the reason. Watch. Here's one lens, one's camera, and then up here I switch it to another one seamlessly. Right there. I do that all the time. When I'm filming live with my iPhone, I always switch camera lenses live. I don't want to have to stop recording, choose a camera, go back and start the recording again and lose 3 to 5 seconds. I switch seamlessly. Seamlessly. So the native camera app, Apple's native camera app for the iPhone, does it the best. Absolutely the best. Absolutely the best. There's my friend Bob. There's my friend Bob from, he lives in Carroll County. Absolutely. But anyway, that's the, let's go back there. That's what I'm going to do. I love this event. I'm going to go see it today again. It's one of my favorite events of the year, so I'm going to be doing that again today. I'm still looking for spatial video editing for Apple Vision Pro and hope for VR support for my Insta360 8K camera, maybe Final Cut Pro 11. Excellent point. Excellent point. Excellent. Apple said in 2023 that Final Cut Pro is going to get Vision Pro spatial video support. We haven't seen it yet. We have not seen it yet, so version 11, I mean, they could call it 8.5 or 8.4 or 10.8.4 or 10.9, but since Logic jumped from 10.8 to 11, I'm saying Final Cut Pro is going to follow suit and do exactly the same thing. Could we possibly see machine learning upscaling? The machine learning retiming could be a precursor to such ability. Yeah, good point. I don't see why not. Quality upscaling from 1080 to 4K or standard def to HD. I have a subscription. No, I have an app that I use. I forget what it's called. Something video AI, whatever it is. I use that for upscaling. It works pretty good. It definitely gives it a step up. It definitely gives it a step up. Definitely gives it a step up. Let me just do one thing here. Hey, where the heck is that? Let's stop that. Okay. We're going to do this. We are going to do this. Oh, that's okay. We're waiting. Anyway, so I'm going to do that shortly. I'm going to head up to Frederick, get a parking space, go set up my tripod. As a matter of fact, I have a picture of that this time. Yeah, Topaz Video AI is what I currently use. I prefer to do it right inside my timeline, of course. The only thing is, when you're doing your timeline, it's very intensive, so it would tie up Final Cut Pro. You have another standalone app, I can put that over somewhere over here, let it do its thing, And I can still edit in Final Cut Pro without tying up resources to doing that. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I have a feeling that the Final Cut Pro team has some surprises for us coming. I think they've been working on Final Cut Pro 11 for a while. It isn't like they just, okay, we got to stop working on Final Cut Pro 10.8, and now we're going to start working on Final Cut Pro 11 for release 6 months from now. No, they've been working on Final Cut Pro 11 probably for years. Maybe it's going to be built from the ground up with new frameworks and stuff, because the existing frameworks on Final Cut Pro 10 are 13 years old. Why not get some modern stuff? Whether that's AI-based, machine learning-based, whatever the heck it is, why not get some more modern stuff? That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Let me do a couple more things here. So here is the theater, like I said, that I'm going to be showing my film next week. And then we also have, what else do we have here? Here is a little video, what is this? Oh, that's me. Here's my graphic that I put together for the Final Cut Pro 10.8 bug fixed. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a Final Cut Pro update today. That's, of course, is Wimpy. And that's his famous line that he did. That's the update for when 10.8 comes out. Let me see what else we have here. Here is the 10.8 graphic. So these are the fastest times that they've bug fixed. Tuesday, this is last year, 10.6.7, July 18th, 2023. 2 weeks later, they came out with 10.6.8 on August the 1st. That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days, they came out with 10.6.9, Tuesday, September the 19th. 2 weeks, 2 days, 10.6.10, Thursday, October the 5th. That's last year. Color improvements. So this is the feature I was talking about. I've had this on my website for years. The ability to drag an effect from the inspector down to the timeline or to the viewer or the browser. It's been on my website for years. Absolutely. The Final Cut Pro team pays attention to my website. What else do we have? I don't know what else we have. So, social media jobs would not be slowed down at all by analyzing, especially with the Apple silicon at work. I see that. Final Cut Pro editors need to be better equipped than CapCut editors. It's a real problem. More and more of my paid work is social media deliverables. Yes, social media is a big deal. Be aware, if you use CapCut, number one, you grant them access to your contact list in the terms of service. When you sign up for CapCut and use their apps, you grant them permission to access your contacts. This one's even worse. Number two, they record, you give them permission to record your keystrokes. You give them permission to record your keystrokes. And I don't think it's limited to just when you're using CapCut. You're giving them broad permission to record your keystrokes with CapCut. I deleted anything CapCut on my phone, iPad, and Mac, and I will no way will I let them come back again. Yes, I advise all my clients to not use CapCuts. Unfortunately, they don't listen. They make it easy. They say, oh, well, I'm not worried about somebody recording my keystrokes. Yeah, wait till they record your keystrokes when you're logging into your bank account, and they record those keystrokes. It's ridiculous. Use LumaFusion. I use LumaFusion on my iPad, and it's also available on the Mac, the iPad version, M1 Max. I use Final Cut Pro, and I use DaVinci Resolve. And I use DaVinci Resolve. So those are the three that I use. I don't need any more. I don't need any more. Let's see what's going on over there on social media. I'm looking forward to screening my documentary next Saturday, edited on Final Cut Pro, of course. Let's see. Here's something I want to show you. This is, actually, do I have a separate screenshot of that? I think I do. Let me see something here. I'm just checking for a screenshot. High Wheelers Race, PNG. Well, we'll just do this. Black. So this is the High Wheelers Race, but I wanted to show you this. This is my setup for today. This is my camera using of course using my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I have it mounted in a small rig custom fit cage for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's got a quick release handle. Let me see if I can point. I'll pull myself over. It's got a quick release handle right there. It's one of these quick release handles. Above that, I have a Shure MV Plus 88 plugged in via USB-C to the side of the iPhone. That is for front-facing talent when I interview them. I will have a DJI Mic 2 transmitter recording my audio. I'm probably not going to be talking. I might interview some people, so that'll be recorded there in 32-bit. I have this little umbrella for a sunshade because in the past, when I've worked this event, it's very sunny out and it's hard to see the screen. So I have this sunscreen, this sunshade that mounts magnetically to the back of the iPhone. Turn that off. So it works, it's magnetically attached and it shades the phone, keeps it off the sun, doesn't overheat, etc. And then down here, if you notice, I have my DJI Action 4 camera, my DJI Action 4. So that'll be recording all the time, the wide shot. And then my phone will be recording close-ups, action. When I turn the tripod, the Action 4 stays stationary. The DJI Action 4, only the iPhone moves. It moves independent of the Action 4. So that's the deal with that. That's what I'm taking today. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Let me just turn that off. Now, why is that? There we go. Turn that off. Turn that off. I don't have a big bug with 10.8. That's very good. Other people have reported, people that I respect have recorded bugs with 10.8. I know they exist. All software has it. All software has bugs, period. I think that the competitiveness of Final Cut Pro holds thanks to the Motion VFX plugins. I have lots of plugins, literally thousands of plugins. Like one package will have 10 different settings. That's what I'm talking about for thousands. So yes, the third-party plugins are a big, big boon to Final Cut Pro, but I want Final Cut Pro itself to have some of these features. I want Final Cut Pro to have a roles-based mixer. I want Final Cut Pro to have text-based editing. I think it's coming in 11 or the next big update. I think it's coming. I think they've been working on it for a while. I want Final Cut Pro to have automatic captioning. So you transcribe the text, you can edit with text, and they have automatic captions in the timeline, etc., that you can adjust. Absolutely. Absolutely, I want that. Let me just check on one thing here. Just going to check on one thing here. Let me see. Yep, that photo. And I'm going to check on this. Let me see. Text. Just want to check, make sure I have a copy of that. There's one app. I'm on Sonoma right now. Yeah, normally I'm on Ventura. I never do anything in Sonoma except for live streaming because I can do this live. That's the reason I come on Sonoma, is because I can do those. I can trigger them with a hardware key. But I'm going to skip over Sonoma and go right to Sequoia. Sequoia looks pretty cool. So I'm going to keep Sonoma. I have Ventura. I'm going to keep Sonoma. I'm going to at one point do a beta version of Sequoia, maybe at version beta 4 or something, or maybe I'll wait till September so I can try boot. I can boot into any one of those 3 operating systems that I want to on my 4 terabyte MacBook Pro. My 4 terabyte MacBook Pro. I just is they call a partition? I don't remember anymore. Called a partition. Anyway, grab your coffee. We're on for a little bit more. Yeah, I even got a hat, a sun hat today, because a lot of times the sun is beating down. Today's nice though. Today's nice. Look outside. Here, look at this. Look how beautiful that looks. This is my backyard. It's overcast. We had a 1 inch of rain, which we desperately needed overnight for the garden and for the grass and everything. But you can see it's overcast. It is overcast. So this is live from my backyard. I often say a real editor is able to edit on any editing software, despite a lot of lack of Final Cut Pro. It's great. So this is what I say. I'll say it again. I say it all the time. I use 3 NLEs: LumaFusion, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. LumaFusion is like a motorcycle. Final Cut Pro is like a sports car. It's like driving a sports car. DaVinci Resolve is like driving a big, heavy-duty truck. Between those 3, there's things that one can do something another one can't do, and another one can do something that the other one can't do. For the longest time, we didn't have a scrolling timeline in Final Cut Pro. Well, LumaFusion's had it forever. As a matter of fact, Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve has finally added, they call it a stationary playhead. It's kind of the same thing as the scrolling timeline in the edit page. They had it in the cut page. I never had it in the edit page. They added to it recently. Speaking of DaVinci Resolve, I got to do a short interview with Grant Petty from Blackmagic Design at NAB last year. That was really, really cool. I'm a big fan of Grant Petty, and I'm a big fan of Blackmagic Design. So is Apple. Blackmagic Design is designing that, whatever that video camera is, specifically for the Vision Pro. Specifically for the Vision Pro. And that's the only camera that's going to be able to do whatever that, it's like a 180 view or something. It's immersive video. It's not the same as just the regular. So Apple works with Blackmagic all the time. Why don't we have the ability to use B-RAW natively in Final Cut Pro and ProRes RAW natively in Blackmagic Resolve? I don't know. And Avid is like trying to turn a jumbo cargo carrier. Okay. Is there any scuttlebutt regarding the number of Final Cut Pro for iPad subscribers? Is Apple's subscription madness permanent? No, absolutely not. Scuttlebutt, I would say there's thousands of subscriptions, but there's millions. There's 4 to 5 million editors using Final Cut Pro on the Mac. Look, there's 60 things that Final Cut on iPad is missing that Final Cut on Mac has. And now it looks like they're going in separate directions, like they're going to be separate applications. I mean, the iPad version you can draw on screen. I'd love to be able to do that. Of course, we don't have any touchscreen MacBook Pro, so that's one reason why we can't. I like using the pencil sometimes on the iPad. Can't on the MacBook Pro for the Mac. But there's like 60 things in the iPad version that doesn't have, that the Mac version does have. Now, is that going to continue? Don't know. It looks like they are. It looks like there's no intention to be the same application anymore, even though they call it the same. So let me just show you. Let's go here. Once again, go to here. Go to fcpx.tv and then click on this feature parity checklist, Final Cut Pro versus Final Cut for iPad. And you'll see this is an accurate description, okay? This is accurate. The way this looks is an accurate representation of Final Cut Pro and much smaller Final Cut iPad. Final Cut Pro, Final Cut iPad. Nothing wrong with Final Cut iPad. It looks like to be a very cool application, but it's not as powerful as Final Cut Pro on the Mac, and it's not going to be as powerful. So here is the differences between Final Cut Pro and Final Cut for iPad. Missing features, Final Cut for iPad 2. So they added no editing off external drives. So that's crossed out. Subscription only, no white balance, no stabilization, no color board, color wheels, color curves, hue saturation curves, only one scope at a time, no audio sub-rows, only one video row, blah, blah, blah. And it goes down to 60 things that Final Cut for iPad does not have. 52, I'm sorry, 52. You can't zoom clips in the browser. So now missing features, Final Cut Pro, you can't draw on screen, no jog wheel. No pro camera, that we got a pro camera, no auto crop, etc. No live multicam yet. So there's a little bit of difference between the two. And Final Cut Pro team, listen, if you want me to try Final Cut on iPad, give me the option to buy it. Give me the option to buy a perpetual license. I am not going to subscribe to it. Okay, this is what the subscriptions are like. You're killing us with subscriptions. They're all over the place. Everywhere I turn, subscription, subscription, subscription. You don't need a subscription for me, Apple. You're the wealthiest company in the world. Give your customers, listen to your customers, the option to buy Final Cut on the iPad, perpetual license, or a license for 2 years, or a license for 4 years, whatever you want to do, instead of subscription. I don't even care if it's the same amount of money. I'm not going to give you a subscription for $5 a month. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. It's just an application with updates. Give your customers the option to buy it. I'll buy it, and I'll try it out. I got a 13-inch MacBook Pro. I'm not going to even fire up the trial. Maybe I will around the Creative Summit. I may try it out. I have LumaFusion. You featured LumaFusion for 2 years in your Apple events. It's a great, great NLE if you want to edit on an iPad. Final Cut for iPad, it looks to be a very, very cool application. It's the subscription that I object to. I don't expect it to be as powerful as the Mac version. I never did. Right from the beginning, I never did. That's being bore out in the release of the two. I would buy it if I could buy it. I'm not going to give you $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month is completely reasonable. It's a fantastic price point. It's the principle. Don't give me a subscription. Not interested. They saturate us with their subscription. Now, here's the difference. Apple TV is different. It's a streaming service, okay? I'm paying for the streaming. Ecamm Live, which I'm using right now to broadcast live, it's a subscription. But they're paying their bandwidth bill. I'm using their bandwidth every month, every time I go live. I don't mind paying subscription for that. Not subscription for an app. Not a subscription for an app. I'm not going to do it. Apple could have imported iMovie, which is actually good enough for many, yeah, absolutely, probably my most basic projects. Unfortunately, iMovie can go years between updates and improvements. So Final Cut Pro gets updates. Logic Pro gets updates. They're both paid. Give us the option. I don't even care if it's the same price. I don't even care if you say $99 for 2 years of updates or $49 a year subscription. But at the end of the 2 years, I can keep the version of Final Cut for iPad that I have. I can keep that version. If you subscribe at $49 a year for it, at the end of the 2 years, it goes, boop, gone. Can't use it. Can't open your projects. That's the Adobe model. That's the Adobe model. That's the model that your customers do not want. If you said, okay, you can pay for the subscription, at the end of the subscription, you don't get any more updates, but you can still use the current version of the app that you have. I have apps that say that do that exact thing. Okay, my web design application, Everweb. I subscribe every once in a while. At the end of the subscription, the app continues to work. I just don't get any updates. Same with Waves plugins. I can get their Waves update plan. When that expires, I can still use the existing Wave plugins for as long as I want. If you let us do that, if you said, okay, subscribe at the end of the subscription, you can keep the version that you have. You just can't get an update or whatever. That is customer friendly. Listen to your customers. I'm a customer. I'm not going to pay a subscription when the app stops working if you stop paying. It's just a ransom. Even though it is $4.99 a month, very, very reasonable. Even though you can turn it on and off on your iPhone, very, very reasonable. I'm not going to pay it. Carte blanche, I don't need it. I have 3 other NLEs, including Final Cut, LumaFusion, and DaVinci Resolve. I just get why Apple doesn't like $200 for Final Cut for iPad. Let me spend too much to buy it and allow a subscription for those who want it. I'd buy it for $200. Shh, $99. That would be the top for the iPad version. First off, so here's the deal. Editing on the iPad is different, as you might expect, than editing on the Mac. When I got my iPad Pro and I use LumaFusion, I really, really like it for some projects. I couldn't do this documentary that I have on LumaFusion. It's too big. I'm accessing 8 terabytes or more of footage on a RAID that cannot connect to an iPad. I am using plugins on Final Cut Pro that I don't have on the iPad, so I could never do this long documentary in LumaFusion. I certainly can do it in Blackmagic, but I've already done it in Final Cut Pro. So it's different. It's very enjoyable. Just like Final Cut Pro is enjoyable on the Mac, LumaFusion is enjoyable on the iPad. Very, very enjoyable. It's Blackmagic's intelligence to put DaVinci on a lifetime price. This was not the case before DaVinci Resolve was inaccessible to the average person. Exactly. Yeah, so, yeah, DaVinci Resolve is $299, the same price point as Final Cut Pro, but it gives you like a suite of apps all in one. It's brilliant, brilliant. I'd love to see Final Cut Pro go that way, where you have tabs. You go to Motion, you go to Compressor, you go to Logic, and in Final Cut Pro, and they're all synced to the same timeline. Brilliant, brilliant. Blackmagic. Speaking of which, why DaVinci decided to make it accessible. Absolutely. All right, everybody. I have to get out of here because I got to get ready to go to Frederick. I'm almost ready. Here's the deal. I expect Final Cut Pro 10.8.1 to be released within the next week or two, very possibly this coming Thursday, 10.8.1. Hopefully it'll clear up all these bugs that people are reporting. Random thought, there's a shuttle jog on the iPad Final Cut app, but there's no way to use a physical jog with Final Cut for the Mac. I wish there was. Yeah, you can use a physical jog with Final Cut for the Mac. I use it with, what is it called? Oh, you mean the jog wheel? Yeah, it doesn't have the jog wheel, but you can use this as a jog wheel with Final Cut. So I haven't updated the drivers for that. I can't use it right now, but you can use jog wheel in Final Cut too. I like the jog wheel. But LumaFusion knows about that wheel. I'd be surprised if you don't see it in version 5, which is coming out this summer. LumaFusion version 5, $29.99, no subscription. They don't steal your data. They don't record your keystrokes. They don't access your contact list. It's a superior NLE for the iPad. It's a fantastic NLE, LumaFusion. They don't pay me to say that. Great community of people to support, do tutorials, etc. Just like the Final Cut Pro community for the most time. So Tuesday, the 10.1 update, if I had to bet, I would say Thursday, not Tuesday. But it could be Monday, Tuesday. I'm just saying over the next week or two, we're going to see 10.8.1 bug fix. Very likely this week. And my bet would be Thursday. Nobody took me up on coffee for that bet, but I would say Thursday. The shuttle jog on the Mac is just essentially hitting left or right arrows over and over again, so it's not the most fluid operation from what I understand. It's still a jog. There's ways to do, there's hardware that you can do jog shuttle, and it can go faster and slow. I'm just saying, I use it to go one frame at a time. But yeah, they could add that. But Final Cut Pro 11 is on the horizon. Since Logic jumped from 10.8 to 11, Final Cut is going to do the same thing, I'm predicting. That means we could see Final Cut Pro 11 later this year around the Creative Summit. Now, the Creative Summit, I know some things about it. I'm just going to say, based on what's happened in the past, there's two things I'm going to say about the Creative Summit that are very, very likely. Number one, it's going to be in November, because it has been for the last 3 or 4 years. Number two, it's going to be in Cupertino, so we can go see the Final Cut Pro team in person and talk to them, because that's where they're based. Number three, I would say we're probably going to go to the Spaceship Campus again. So that information should be forthcoming. Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have your advice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the workaround for audio scrubbing. You're welcome. I hope that works for you. That's what I've been told. So there we go for everybody. Thumbs up for all of you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go film in Frederick. I'm going to get ready to go. Final Cut Pro team watches this broadcast. They're probably watching right now, sitting down with Tim Cook with bagels and coffee. Thank you very much. Final Cut Pro team, here's to you. Thank you for all the work that you do. We're looking forward to what you have for Final Cut Pro for 2024. And if 10.8.1 comes out, I'll do a live stream just to touch base, let people talk about it. If not, I will see everybody next Saturday, probably 10 o'clock. Just check. Today I was early because I got a good film. Talk to everybody. See you later.